In this session, we'll be discussing about the signal analyzers and signal generators, Unit 2. So these are the contents which we'll be discussing in this Unit 2. So we have two parts in this Unit 2, signal generators and signal analyzers. So in the signal generators, we'll be discussing about the AF signal generators, RF signal generators. These two will come under the standard signal generators, and we'll be discussing about sweep frequency generator, pulse and square wave generators, function generators, arbitrary waveform generator, and video signal generators. So after generating signals by using these generators, we'll be discussing about the signal analyzers, which are used for analyzing the signal and characteristics of the signal, like amplitude, frequency. All these can be analyzed by using the signal analyzers. So in the signal analyzers, we have different types of signal analyzers: AF/HF wave analyzer, harmonic distortion analyzer, heterodyne wave analyzer, spectrum analyzer, power analyzers, capacitance voltage meters, and oscillators. So in the first part, we'll be discussing about the signal generators. So first of all, what is a signal generator? So it is an electronic device which is used for generating repeating or non-repeating electronic signals in either the analog or the digital domain. So where do we use these generated signals are? They are mainly used in designing, testing, troubleshooting, and repairing electronic devices. So whatever the signals generated by the signal generator must be capable of producing stable signals over a wide range of frequencies from few hertz to even gigahertz or above ranges. And for the generated signals, the amplitude must also be variable, and attenuators are usually used to provide the changes in the amplitude. They vary the amplitude of the signal from a low value to a high value, that is from few millivolts to volts. Next, the signal source can be broadly classified into two types: fixed signal source and variable signal source. In fixed signal generators, the amplitude of the waveform or frequency of the waveform or both can be fixed. In variable signal source, the amplitude of the waveform can be varied from few millivolts to volts, and the frequency can also be variable over an entire range, that is from few hertz to few gigahertz. Next, these are the following factors which must be considered in selecting or comparing signal generators. So the first factor is frequency range. So the range of the signal, the frequency range of the signal which is generated must be variable from few hertz to few gigahertz, or sometimes even the higher ranges. So whatever the signal is generated, that generated signal frequency must be variable from a very low value to the higher value. Next one, output voltage. Similarly, the output voltage must also be variable from a very low value to the higher value, that is from few millivolts to volts. Next, resolution. So the instrument, whatever the instrument we are using, it must respond to the changes in the frequency or amplitude very quickly. That is, it should provide high resolution. Next, accuracy. So there should be very minimum deviations from the standard values or the specified values. Then only the instrument provides accurate results. Frequency stability. Whenever we are changing any frequency range, it takes certain amount of time to change, and whatever the frequency is changed, that frequency must be stable over a certain period of time. That is also one consideration. Next, amplitude stability. The amplitude stability. So even the amplitude of the signal must be stable for a certain amount of time. Next, distortion. It provides minimum distortion. It provides minimum distortion whenever we are using at very low frequency ranges or at higher frequency ranges. So it should not provide distortion. Even if it is having distortion, it should have very minimum value. When we get this distortion only when we are using at very low values or at higher ranges. Next. So first of all, we'll discuss what we have in a basic standard signal generator. So this basic standard signal generator is used for generating the sine wave. As the sine wave is the largest signal category of the signal generator, which covers a frequency range from few hertz to few gigahertz. So in a standard signal generator, we are having two blocks. One is the oscillator and the other one is the attenuator. Oscillator is used for varying the frequency and attenuator is used for attenuating the level of the output signal. So let us see. A simple sine wave generator consists of two blocks. One is an oscillator and the other one is an attenuator. The accuracy of the frequency, stability, freedom from distortion, all these depend upon the design of the oscillator, while the amplitude depends on the design of the attenuator. Now, we'll be discussing the first signal generator, which is AF sine wave and square wave generator. So this generator is used to produce two outputs. One is the sine wave and the square wave. So this is the block diagram of the AF sine wave and square wave generator. So in this we are having a Wien-Bridge oscillator and we are having a functional switch here, which is used for selecting either the sine wave output or square wave output. And we are having the sine wave shaper or sine wave amplifier and an attenuator, which are used to produce sine wave output. And we are having the square wave shaper, amplifier, square wave, attenuator, which are used to produce the square wave output. So as we all know that the Wien-Bridge oscillator is the most suitable oscillator for the AF range. So in this we are using a Wien-Bridge oscillator, that is we are having an LC tank circuit here. So in the Wien-Bridge oscillator we are using the, as it is the best suitable for the audio frequency range, we are using the Wien-Bridge oscillator. And in this the frequency of oscillations can be varied. In the Wien-Bridge, I'll repeat again. So this is the block diagram of an AF sine wave and square wave generator. In this we are using a Wien-Bridge oscillator as it is suitable for the audio frequency range. And by changing the value of the capacitance, we can vary the range of the frequencies, and we can also vary the frequency range by changing the values of the resistors. And the output of the Wien-Bridge oscillator is then fed to a functional switch. Now the functional switch will direct either to the sine wave or square wave output. And when the Wien-Bridge output is given to the sine wave amplifier, it will amplify the generated signal and it is given to the attenuator. Now here the attenuator will attenuate the level of the output signal such that in a way the entire waveform can be displayed on the screen and generate sine wave. Next. When the Wien-Bridge oscillator output is given to the square wave shaper, it is used for converting that sine wave into square wave, and whatever the square wave is generated, it is amplified by using square wave amplifier and it is given to the attenuator. Attenuator will attenuate the level of the output signal and generates the square wave output. Now we'll see. So a Wien-Bridge oscillator is the best for audio frequency range. So we are using Wien-Bridge oscillator here. The frequency of oscillations, we can change the value of the frequency by varying the value of the capacitance. And frequency can also be changed in steps by switching the resistors in of different values. Next, the output of the Wien-Bridge oscillator will be going to the functional switch as we already discussed it. This functional switch either directs the output to the square wave or sine wave. So we get the sine wave or square wave at the output, and the output level is varied by means of an attenuator. Next. So we can vary the frequency range in 5 decade steps with overlapping ranges from 10 Hz to 1 MHz. Next, the output sine wave amplitude, whatever the sine wave is generated, that amplitude can be varied from 5 millivolts to 5 volt RMS. We can vary the amplitude of the sine wave from 5 millivolts to 5 volts RMS. The output is taken through a push pull amplifier. For low output, the impedance is 600 ohms. For producing low output, we are using an impedance of 600 ohms. Next, the square wave amplitude can be varied from 0 to 20 volts peak. Square wave can be generated with an amplitude varying from 0 to 20 volts. And the generated square wave duty cycle can also be varied from 30% to 70% by using symmetric control. Next, this entire instrument or signal generator requires 7 watts of power at 220 volts, 50 hertz is required. So this is about the AF sine wave and square wave generator. In the AF sine wave square wave generator, we are using Wien-Bridge oscillator. So in the Wien-Bridge oscillators, we are having resistors and capacitors which are used for changing the values of the frequency of the generated signal. Next, on the front panel of the signal generator, we consist of 10 knobs. Total, we have 10 knobs on the front panel of the signal generator. So in that, the first one is frequency selector. So this frequency selector knob is used for selecting the frequency in different ranges, and it varies continuously in a ratio of 1:11. The scale is non-linear. So frequency selector knob is used for varying the frequency continuously. Next, frequency multiplier. So this frequency multiplier knob is used to provide different ranges of the frequencies. So it selects the frequency range over 5 decades, that is from 10 hertz to 1 megahertz. So frequency multiplier is used to provide the different ranges of the frequency, and we can select the particular range of the frequency from 10 hertz to 1 megahertz. Next, we also have an amplitude multiplier. So this amplitude multiplier is used for attenuating the sine wave in 3 decades. We can change it in 3 decades, into 1 range, into 0.1 range, and into 0.01 range. Next, we also have a variable amplitude knob. So this variable amplitude knob is used for varying the amplitude of the sine wave continuously. Next, we also have a symmetric control knob. It is used for changing the duty cycle of the respected waveform, which will be varied from 30% to 70%. Next, we also have an amplitude. This is used for varying the amplitude of the square wave output. Next, we have a functional switch, which is used for selecting either sine wave or square wave output. Next, we have output available knob. This is used to provide, by connecting the CRO probe to this output available knob, we can generate either sine wave or square wave. Next, sync. Sync is used to provide synchronization with the external signals. And in the last, we have an on and off switch, which is used to switch on or switch off the generator. So this is about the AF sine wave and square wave generator. Next, moving to the next one, we have RF or standard signal generator. So a standard signal generator is mainly used to produce known and controllable voltages. And when we are using this standard signal generator as a power source, it is used for the measurement of signal to noise ratio, bandwidth, standing wave ratio, gain, and other properties. As the standard signal generator is used to produce modulated carrier signals over RF range. So this is extensively used in the testing of radio transmitters and receivers. What is a radio receiver? Which is used for receiving the radio signals. What is a radio transmitter? Which transmits the radio signals. So this signal generator is used for generating the carrier signals over the RF range. So it is used in the testing of radio receivers and transmitters. Next. So this instrument is used to produce the modulated carrier signal at the output. So this is provided with the means of the modulating the carrier frequency is provided by a dial on the front panel. We can provide the modulation with the help of a dial on the front panel. Next, the modulation is indicated by a meter. So in the front panel, we have a modulation knob, which is used to produce the modulating carrier frequency. So after modulation, it can generate an amplitude modulated wave or frequency modulated wave. For performing modulation, we can use either sine wave, square wave, triangular wave, or any other pulse. So when we are performing amplitude modulation, when we are changing the amplitude of the carrier signal with the message signal, it produces amplitude modulated wave. When the frequency of the carrier signal is changed with the frequency of the message signal, then it produces the frequency modulated wave. For performing this modulation, we can use sine wave, square wave, triangular wave, or any other pulse. So coming to the block diagram of the RF standard signal generator. So this is the block diagram of the RF standard signal generator. So in this we are having an RF oscillator, we are having a wideband amplifier and an output attenuator which is used for indicating the output level, this output meter. Next, in the wideband amplifier we are having an external oscillator and modulation oscillator. And on the front panel, we are having the range and frequency controllers. So this range knob is used for controlling the range of the frequency, and frequency knob is used for changing the value of the frequency. Next, in the modulation oscillator, you can also change the modulation frequency by using this knob and percentage modulation with this knob on the front panel. Next. So this RF oscillator will be generating a carrier signal with a constant amplitude whose frequency can be varied over a wide range by using this range and frequency knob controls. So in this RF oscillator, we are using an LC tank circuit which is used to produce the carrier signal. In that LC tank circuit, by changing the value of capacitance, we can change the value of the frequency of the signal generated. So this generated carrier signal will be given to the wideband amplifier. So in the wideband amplifier, we are having an internal oscillator or external oscillator which is used to perform amplitude modulation or frequency modulation. So after performing amplitude modulation or frequency modulation to the carrier signal generated from the RF oscillator, the this wideband amplifier will generate an output signal, modulated carrier signal to the output attenuator. So here the output attenuator will attenuate the level of the output signal, and the output level, whatever the voltage is measured, will be indicated in this output meter. So this is what we have discussed. Next, coming to the advantages of the RF standard signal generator. So it is having two advantages. One is it is used to provide stable output voltage, and the output voltage can also be controlled according to the requirement. These are the advantages of this generator. Next, coming to the disadvantages, frequency stability is limited due to LC tank circuit. So in the RF oscillator, we are using an LC tank circuit. It is generating a stable limited carrier signal at the output. So frequency stability is limited. That is, it takes some time to stabilize to a new frequency whenever we are changing the range. So whenever the frequency range is changed, it won't respond immediately. It takes certain amount of time to stabilize to the new change in the frequency. So this we are using the regulated power supplies which are used to provide the frequency stability to overcome this drawback. Next, the other drawback is isolation. Isolation, we need isolation devices between the output and RF oscillator. Suppose if there are any changes in the output, it will also produce some changes to the RF oscillator signal, carrier signal which is generating. So it causes distortion in the signal generated. So to overcome this, we require isolation for the RF or for the input device from the output device. So for this, we are using a buffer amplifiers to avoid the isolation effect. So this is about the RF signal generator. Thank you.